Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. You wanted to get up to speed on semi-solid metal casting for automotive components, and you sent over a really fascinating article in Chinese.
Oh, wow.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. Get this.
Yeah.
The article dives into how this relatively new process is shaking things up in the automotive world,
Yeah.
promising lighter, stronger, and more intricate parts.
It is really interesting stuff.
Buckle up,
Mm.
because we're about to unpack some serious metal magic.
I love that.
So,
Yeah.
maybe we should start with you giving us a little background.
Sure.
What exactly is SSM?
So SSM stands for semi-solid metal casting.
Okay.
And it's basically a way of shaping metal that uses a sort of slushy,
Slushy.
like a slushy metal mixture instead
Right.
of completely molten metal.
Interesting.
This gives you a lot more control over the process
Okay.
and lets you create much more complex shapes with really thin walls, which is a big deal for car parts.
Right, because the car companies are always trying to make cars lighter,
Exactly. Lighter cars mean better fuel efficiency.
of course, and lower emissions.
Right. So there's a lot of pressure to find ways to reduce weight without compromising strength.
And that's where SSM comes in.
Yeah, SSM is kind of a game changer.
Oh, so, well,
The article claims that SSM can reduce the weight of a car part by, on average, 40 to 50%.
wow. That's huge.
It is.
So,
Dang.
imagine the impact on fuel efficiency
Oh, absolutely.
and emissions. It's like getting a performance boost just by switching materials.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So how does it work? I mean, how do they actually make these parts?
It all starts with the semi-solid slurry
Oh,
that
yeah.
I mentioned.
The slushy metal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a mix of solid and liquid metal, and they keep it constantly stirred during the casting process.
I see.
This helps to prevent defects,
No,
like porosity,
porosity.
like little holes or bubbles,
Oh, okay.
so which can
Yeah.
weaken the part. And it also helps to ensure a more uniform microstructure.
So it's not just pouring metal into a mold.
No. There's a lot of precision and control involved.
So what kind of metals are used in SSM?
Well, aluminum is a popular choice.
Because it's lightweight.
Exactly. It's also very strong and durable, and it's relatively easy to work with in the semi-solid state.
So we talked about the weight savings, but what about the design flexibility?
That's another major advantage of SSM. Because you're working with this semi-solid material, you can create much more intricate shapes and details than you could with traditional casting methods.
Like what kind of details?
Well, think about all the little vents and curves.
Oh, yeah. And intricate designs you see in a modern car's dashboard.
Right. SSM is making that kind of detail possible while keeping things lightweight.
And that's crucial.
Absolutely. Car designers are always trying to pack more features into smaller spaces.
Right. So the ability to create these complex shapes with thin walls
Mm-hmm.
is a big deal.
It is.
So we've got lighter weight, more design flexibility. What about strength?
Well, SSM components actually have some pretty impressive mechanical properties.
Like what?
They have high yield strength and tensile strength,
Mhm.
which means they can withstand a lot of force before they deform.
That's good. We don't want our car parts bending out of shape.
Exactly. They also have good resistance to fatigue.
Fatigue.
Yeah, that's the weakening of a material over time due to repeated stress. So SSM parts are less likely to fail under
Yeah.
these conditions.
That makes sense.
And they also have good resistance to wear and tear, corrosion, and stress.
So basically, these parts aren't just lighter. They're tougher than your average metal.
Yeah,
It's like the automotive equivalent of a superhero suit.
I like that analogy.
Okay, so back to the thin walls for a second.
Sure.
The article mentioned something about SSM allowing for exceptionally thin walls.
Right. Without compromising strength or requiring extra installation space.
And why is that so important?
Well, as we've already talked about,
Yeah.
car manufacturers are constantly trying to pack more features into smaller spaces.
Right.
So, the ability to create parts with thin walls without sacrificing strength is really crucial.
This is huge for car manufacturers.
Absolutely.
Who are constantly trying to pack more features into smaller spaces.
Yeah.
Now, the article also mentioned a couple of other interesting things about SSM.
Oh, yeah. Like
improved shock absorption.
right. And thermal conductivity.
So what does that mean for the average driver?
Well, improved shock absorption means a smoother
Okay.
and quieter ride.
Exactly. And improved thermal conductivity means that the parts can dissipate heat more effectively.
So the car runs cooler.
Right. Which can improve engine performance.
That's the potential of SSM.
It is.
Now, another thing the article mentioned was precision engineering.
Oh, yes. That's a big one.
So how does SSM contribute to that?
Well, because the semi-solid slurry
Right.
flows so easily, it can fill even the most complex molds with incredible accuracy.
Okay.
And because the cooling process is so controlled, you end up with parts
Yeah.
that have very tight tolerances.
Though it's like pouring liquid metal into a mold that perfectly replicates even the tiniest detail.
Exactly, ensuring each part is identical.
Which is essential for mass production. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Now, we've already touched on this a bit, but the article really emphasized how SSM leads to a reduction in defects.
It does. And that's a major advantage.
But how does it do that?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the stirring process during casting
Right.
helps to eliminate porosity and air bubbles.
Which are those tiny imperfections.
Exactly. That can lead to big problems down the line.
So this is all about quality control.
It is.
SSM
Right.
makes sure those tiny imperfections that can lead to big problems down the line are practically eliminated.
That's the goal.
And finally,
Okay.
the article talked about how SSM is a very efficient
Yes.
and scalable manufacturing process.
Seems to me.
It means that it can be used to produce high-quality parts quickly and in large quantities.
Shorter cycle times.
Right. Less waste
Mhm.
and minimal post-processing. All of these things contribute to a more efficient and cost-effective manufacturing process.
This means car makers can produce high-quality parts faster and in larger quantities, which ultimately benefits us, the consumers. So, to wrap things up, SSM seems to be revolutionizing automotive manufacturing
It really is.
with its unique combination of benefits: lighter weight, greater strength, incredible design flexibility, and enhanced efficiency.
That's a pretty impressive technology.
It is. It makes you wonder what the future holds
It does.
if lighter
Stronger.
and more intricate car parts are possible with SSM. What other industries might benefit from this innovative technology?
That is a great question.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into semi-solid metal casting. We hope you found this as fascinating as we did.
I certainly do.
We'll see you next time.